Okay, welcome to the first podcast for case studies for ISIS 2103. So today we're going to be talking about blockchain case studies. So experience with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, my experience is pretty limited, but there's still enough to talk about. So I guess my first experience with Bitcoin would be back 3 or 4 years ago. I had a buddy who was talking about Bitcoin and how the price has exploded, I guess, relatively back then. So it was like maybe going for like 5 or 6,000, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 a coin back then. And he was talking about how, like, man, if I just bought like, a couple back in the day, or, like maybe 10 coins back in the day, back when it was firstly launched in it was launched in like 2009, so I guess when you bought it in like 2011, 12, you would have so much more money now. And so I guess that was my first time I ever heard the word Bitcoin. And so the first time I ever bought Bitcoin was around November, December 2017, back when there was the Bitcoin bubble, as I like to call it. So I guess it was starting to go for 17,000, and it peaked around $19,000 for one coin. And that was crazy because everyone was buying it, everyone was talking about it, and people were making a little bit of money for not like buying a lot, making like $10-20, and that was cool. See, I bought some, I kind of got into it late. I bought some right when it was about 18,000, not almost to the peak, so didn't make like any money, like $5 maybe. And so that kind of, the bubble burst, and prices, dipped very, very steeply. And there has been kind of some peaks. I think it's kind of stabilized at this point. It's not really. Before, I thought it was really overvalued, I guess, for what it was. But now it's kind of flatlined a little bit and stabilized a little bit. So now I think as time goes on, maybe buying Bitcoin would, make more sense now than what it was earlier. And I use an app called Coinbase for the iPhone, and it was super. I thought how it's cool, super easy to buy Bitcoin. Like I was talking to all our friends, and you could buy Bitcoin so easily on that app. And so it was a mobile app, so everyone could buy it, and that was cool. That was very accessible to people to buy Bitcoin. How do you see blockchain applying to your major? So my major is finance, minor in accounting. I think blockchain has a lot of applicable uses for, especially finance. So what I've looked up and done a little research. So I've learned that there are these things called ICOs. So initial coin offerings versus an IPO, which is an initial public offering, I guess, to fund businesses. And instead of starting out with how to like get growth capital for your business. So instead of getting investors like angels investors and so in 2016, apparently, blockchain companies raised $400 million from traditional ventures and investors, and then $200 million from the initial ICO coin offerings. And so, I guess what that does is allows people to get on a company early on through cryptocurrencies, and it's really cool to see how they can fund their company really early on, and you can get on, be a funder and investor really early on. And if it's a really good company and you see a lot of growth, then you can get on it early and not have to deal with lawyers and banks and all those the bureaucracy of finance and banking. And so that was one of the good point of the video, is that you can, instead of going through these third parties, you can kind of remove the middleman and get lower prices for everyone. And that's what you really want at the end of the day. You want accessibility and just make it easier for everyone. So for accounting, I think it's really important because you can assess the value of things a lot better. So if you can assess the value of like maybe a truck you use, and use blockchain to kind of go through, okay, so what's the repairs done to this truck, how much did you buy it for, and just go through the whole history of it instead of kind of doing some guesswork. I think that's really important. And blockchain can be applied to everything. That's why I think it's really exciting technology. You can apply it through all things in finance and accounting. It's just transparency, and that's really good for financial, people in the finance field. The more you know, more information you know about something, the less guesswork you have, the better you can, assess things and decide if you need to purchase this or sell things. And it's just streamlining things, and that's what technology should do, is make life easier. What did I learn from the interview? That was something new. So I guess I really didn't think of how applicable, how widespread blockchain was. Before this, I was kind of thinking it was just Bitcoin and Ethereum and cryptocurrency. I know there was blockchain that could be applied, but I didn't know it was this widespread and this useful as a tool. And so that was something I really enjoyed. And in 10 years, blockchain, I think it's really can be applied to a lot of things. As I said earlier, as technologies progress, there's failures, of course, and like the Bitcoin bubble, people kind of overvalued it. Bitcoin wasn't as widespread use as I can see it going, so I guess I can understand why the value dropped off. It was kind of a trend for a while. But yeah, I think once the technology develops and it becomes more widespread, more investment and research is done to this, then yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with it. And I guess that concludes this blog, podcast, whatever, with my very not great laptop camera, but my very good Blue Snowball microphone. Yeah. Hasta la vista.